is going to be just a quick follow-up to yesterday's video that I made on these 12-volt fridges, and specifically the ones that have the compressor on top. So if you haven't seen that video, check it out, because I do kind of go into depth of why you want a fridge with a compressor on top. But yeah, so I featured this fridge. This is the Setpower X50 in that video. But you know, that video wasn't really anything to do with this exact fridge. It was just kind of in general. So I wanted to make an actual review on this particular model. So yeah, so I used this fridge like for about 2 months exclusively, right? So I wanted to do like a kind of like a real full test on this thing. I'm not using it now. It's just like in storage, and it's just like you know, backup if I need it for an emergency situation or something like that, right? But yeah, I did do a full test on it for 2 months exclusively. I actually unplugged my regular refrigerator because I didn't want to be tempted, right? I didn't want to have a situation where I was gonna say, okay, this, you know, it's not working for me. I'll just, you know, throw this in my regular fridge. No, I wanted to actually use it like a dedicated fridge, like it was my only option, right? And this thing actually performed better than even that I thought. So I was real happy with it. I did have an issue towards the end where the display died and the unit wouldn't power on. But I actually found that you can actually remove this hood. It's real easy. There's just a couple of screws, and you know, there was a connection that just came undone. So that was just a real simple fix. You know, so otherwise, I've been very happy with it. As far as performance goes, it uses very little power. Again, because of the efficiency of this design with the compressor on top. You know, basically the compressor is producing a lot of heat, and so you want that heat as far and away as possible from, you know, the actual refrigerated area, right? So I found that it uses like less than 300 watt hours a day, which is excellent. If you're going to be running this thing off of a power station, you know, that's something that even a mid-sized power station can, you know, you can get like a couple of days of runtime on this thing. And you know, if you have some solar panels, you don't even really need much solar, right? You can easily get about 300 watts a day if you just have some decent sun and just a couple of small panels. So yeah, so that's excellent. You know, one of the other things that I look for in all these 12-volt refrigerators, kind of even regardless of where the compressor is located, is make sure that they have these cooling vents on all three sides. So a lot of them they have them like on the front and the back only. You know, just make sure you're getting a unit that has them on the side as well, because you want to be able to exhaust that heat as best as possible, because you got it next to the refrigerated area for one, right? So you don't want that heat kind of leaking into the refrigerated area. But it's also just good for longevity, because heat is actually what's going to lead to failure as far as the electronics in the unit and the compressor, right? So the cooler you can kind of keep those things, just the longer your fridge is gonna run in general. And just make sure that those vents are clear, right, and they're not blocked. Now, now, kind of a little bit of a funny thing. This model, you can get a battery for it, which is what this little compartment is. And you know what's funny is that they do, if you're not using the battery, they do provide like a little cover plate. And that cover plate actually is just a smooth plastic, right? It's not, it doesn't have any ventilation holes in it. So I would just recommend, if you're going to use this without the battery like I am, just don't use that cover plate, because then, like I said, you get better cooling, right, without it. As you see, there are holes in the back of that compartment. So if you use that cover plate, you kind of block those off. So they really should have provided a cover plate with some ventilation holes. But yeah, so it's not a perfect fridge, but overall there's a lot that I like about it. So now, as far as the design goes of the unit, you know, it's just a big black square, really. You know, it's not a bad looking unit, but you know, I'm not too crazy about the huge logo on it. And then this model does come with wheels and a handle. So that's something that, you know, I kind of wish they offered a version without that, because just so it would have a cleaner look. But it does have this handle. It's kind of like janky. I'm not the biggest fan of it. And now as far as the other features it has, it's just got this real simple basic screen, and I actually like that it's real simple and basic, and it just lights up white. It's just a nice clean design. It's got max and eco, so max you only want to use, when you first plug it in and just to drop the temperature, then switch it to eco. And then it's kind of funny, this one has a wireless charger as well, which is I guess why not? You got the space there. So that's something kind of funny. But I guess some people would use that. And then the interior does have the light. And I found that at least on my model, the thing is actually pretty accurate. As you can see, it's almost perfectly accurate. Regardless of what kind of fridge you have or what your display is reading, get one of those thermometers, because then you'll just know for sure. And then one thing that I'm not crazy about is, as you can see, there's like because of the axle for the wheels, the back part of the fridge, the bottom of the fridge, it's not completely flat. They should have just made this entire bottom flat, even if it meant having the entire bottom like a 1/4 of an inch higher to kind of match where that little ramp part is. That would have just still been better, because this is a really deep fridge, so if it was a quarter of an inch less deep, that would be fine, and then you'd have a completely flat bottom. So I don't know why they did it like that. It's really nice to have a smaller opening, a smaller lid, just because you're not going to be letting as much heat in every time you open it. And so I do like that. And then the gasket is just a foam gasket. So, we like to see a rubber gasket, but really it's not going to make a huge difference, right? Because this is a very small lid in a big compartment, right? So you're just going to be losing a lot of heat, even with all the insulation these units have. You're going to be losing probably more heat just through the body of the unit than through the actual seal here. And something that a lot of people have kind of mentioned as a negative is this little area here. They're like, why is this not completely sealed off? Well, this is actually deliberate. And the reason is that if you've used a fridge that actually does have like a complete airtight seal on it, like what ends up happening is, because the air is chilled inside relative to the outside air, when you shut the lid and you have an airtight seal, you can get like this vacuum effect. Because as the air is colder inside the unit, it's going to condense, right? I mean, that's just basic physics is what happens, right? Colder things, they kind of shrink. And so what ends up happening, that the air inside there actually creates a vacuum. And then when you go to, lift it up, it's like it won't come undone, right? It like won't open up. So you got to like really yank it. And what ends up happening is you end up creating like a lot of turbulence, and you end up like increasing the amount of air that's going into the unit, as far as warm air going in and cold air going out. So you actually just make things worse. So just by having this little break there, you never get a complete airtight seal. And what that means is this lid is just always super easy to open up, and you can just open up steady and slowly like that. And then finally, just a note on the compressor. The compressor is very quiet. I mean, a lot of these fridges, they are pretty quiet. But the thing that I've been really impressed with this model is compared to at least the one other fridge I had before this, is when this compressor shuts off, it's like completely silent. So not just when it's running, like that's one factor. But when it shuts off, it just kind of dies, and you almost don't even notice it. Whereas the other bodega that I had, the compressor was very quiet when it was running, but then it made like kind of like a clunk, right, every time it shut off. So that was like super annoying. So yeah, this one I've been very impressed with. As far as all overall, I really like it because of the efficiency, the efficiency of the design. But then just, the unit itself does perform well. So yeah, if you're looking at buying a 12-volt fridge, definitely get one with the compressor on top. even if you don't want to get this model. But I have been happy with this model. So yeah, so hopefully someone finds this interesting or helpful. And yeah, thanks for watching.